We are in the process of building the future.
Rangers never bluff.
We have lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Zathras knew you would come.
I think I'll stick my head in the station's fusion reactor.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
Oh, good. I unmuted my mic this time. Just my mouth heffed up, so I'm getting there. Welcome to another Keith Chimes In Babylon 5. This time we'll be talking about Season 2, Episode 1, because I put that on the homework list, but from what I'm understanding, no one read the homework. So other than that, let's bring in our difficult panel, starting with some bearded weirdo, a redhead, Keith, and the human pasty potato.
Am I on television?
That was great. Yeah. He is definitely on television. How you doing down there from the Bam Hicks? How you doing down there, boy?
Doing okay.
How y'all doing? Hello, chat. Hello, Trinoculus, CJ, Stream Elements Bot, Martin, Orlando, and of course other people. Jeebus to show you up later. Jeebus, I can't send a message to you on Minds. I don't know what is going on, bro. But I will do this a one time only. If you want to come on, click that link because I will be deleting it shortly. Other than that, let's say hello to the panel. How's everyone today?
You know what? Good. A little surprised, a little shocked, a little bit happy, considering. And yeah.
That's good. Oh, I know we're shocked. We're going to go into that first right before Touch Babylon 5. I do have the article ready. How about you, Gary? Your living room looks very, very delicate, like you just took a picture out of IKEA.
Yeah, we just moved in here. There's an invisible dog behind me. You can't see me. You can hear her.
Did it get eaten by a killer couch?
It's been, oh my God. Why would anybody watch that fucking movie? Why?
Curiosity?
No,
I was making fun of Matt for that. I'm like, oh, I got hardly wait to finish this fucking movie. Like, why would you watch that?
Is it like that sentient tire movie? Because that's funny.
There's a sentient tire movie?
Yeah.
It's not. I guarantee you it's not, because I liked that movie. I understood the satire that was being done there. This is just one of those cheap fucking dumb ideas. It's like, let's have a horror film where furniture eats people.
Oh, shit. Well, Monkey finally made it in. Script, I hear you're doing well since being up by 6 a.m., right?
Yeah, I got to meet the main actor to the movie I'm writing, talk with them. And it's also, went pretty late. And then missed some stuff, but now I'm back here. And because it's also getting a lot warmer in my area, I'm shaven now. So the beard is gone.
You're lying to us with your avatar.
Okay.
Other than that, welcome, Jeebus. I'm glad you're still Baby Yoda, as creepy as that is. But other than that, Keith, you wanted to bring up a topic first. This has been pretty much all over the internet. I just started laughing because it's like,
well, we're going to go into more depth with this on Friday when we have Mikey on the show, Mikey Sutton. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is exciting news for those of us that love our DC movies.
DC movies and really Warner Brothers in general. This could actually really be helpful for them.
Yeah, hopefully that the head of Discovery is more open to helping fans.
So, can someone break it down? I just have it up there as like what's going on. So, are they saying AT&T got rid of it and gave it to Discovery?
No. What's happening is that Discovery and AT&T are merging.
Okay.
to become a bigger company, basically, and also to take on Disney Plus and all other comers. I mean, at this point, things are really getting serious in the streaming wars.
Yeah.
And if you're going to survive, you need to make sure you're basically either at the top or at least in the top percentile. Okay, you cannot afford to just be an also-ran at this point, because that's a lot of money going out the window, man. Anyway, I'll put it like this to make it easier for everyone. You guys have listened to us talk over the last couple of weeks, and as many more things have come out, as things have been said, whether you're talking stuff about like what happened on Henry Cavill's birthday, as a good example, when the announcement came for that Superman movie, or various interviews with, say, Zack Snyder, especially when referencing working with Warner Brothers on the DC films. Things that he said, things that Henry Cavill didn't say as he kept his mouth shut. Different things that have come together to show that AT&T has basically been keeping quiet.
Really?
And yeah, they've kept quiet with a lot of things. Warner Brothers has basically been running off at the mouth, and they've been basically having their own way with everything. And now we're seeing the end result of what happens when you run your mouth too much. If this were a gangster movie, they just got hit bad.
Like how bad? Like this bad?
No, I mean like out of Goodfellas. They just got, a lot of people just got whacked, basically.
Oh no! So
they had to dig their own grave before it happened too.
So
So they used someone used the phone when they weren't supposed to.
It's not just that. You know how in The Dark Knight, where you get to see all the people that Joker wanted to take out? It's a lot like that. Different ways of doing it. Some of it really ingenious, but for the most part, it's all the same effect.
Chernakis has a question for you. Will J.J. Abrams have more or less freedom to deconstruct? I hope he trips on a stair.
You know what? Here's the interesting thing. Do you remember a lot of the reports about the Superman movie and how it seemed like over time J.J. Abrams became less interested in answering the question or less interested in really going that direction? I think he knew what was coming.
Yeah, he's distancing himself. He does that.
He's good at it. His instincts are good.
My money is on that he's not going to direct. He's going to executive produce.
Oh, I think he was always going to produce
DC films. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's wanting to just make his own stuff. I think he really wants to stay out of this. And
from what we heard and what was discussed last night in our private chat with certain people that I won't mention that are very well known, was that AT&T was not happy with JJ's version, that they don't like brand change like that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you don't take a brand like that and change it.
I don't think that was the only thing they were unhappy with, but that was certainly towards the top. Certain ideas that have been put forth, like that Superman film, and certain individuals who have been running off at the mouth have now been informed that their circumstances are different now. It's not that they've lost their jobs. They know exactly where they are. There's just going to be somebody else doing it.
So in other words, it's like a small
sadly, we heard last night that somebody we thought was in the good side of the camp is going to be shifted too. So it's not just the assholes that are getting shifted. One of the people who is a big supporter of Zack Snyder may be
Jason
shifted.
Kilner.
And I didn't want to say his name, but yeah, there you go. That he's not being fired, but he's going to be shifted. I don't know where. Because, and this is apparently part of the discovery side of things, that they're going to bring somebody in to do his job.
Good.
Yeah.
He's why we got Zach. Not good. He is why we got Justice League.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Discovery's got a far more manageable infrastructure for the stuff that they do.
Yes, they do.
So what
Yes,
they're probably
they do.
going to do is have a couple people in their management side of things, bring in the abstract rules of how to run this branch of the entertainment, and basically say we're going to start a new model to fit onto this side of things that works with the existing development of creative content that goes out to people that's not unscripted, because that's the biggest thing that Warner Brothers has right now. And what's really fascinating is that this $500 million deal that was done with Bad Robot is essentially really just them buying the name of Bad Robot to stick on future productions, and J.J. Abrams is just going to be at an arm's length, which is way better news, not just for J.J., but for the rest of the people that are worried about the properties, because he's not going to have as much of an influence into those projects as we were all worried about 2 years ago. But I also would not be surprised that AT&T has found an escape clause within that contract. If they don't like the direction, they can pretty much kill the deal, because again, he wasn't given that as a lump sum. That's like over a period of years he's getting that $500 million. So if they feel that there's a way for them to cancel it and save that money, AT&T will probably take it, because $500 million is something they kind of want to have and probably could reallocate to something of a bit more reliance in however this merger plays out. So it's going to be a really interesting couple of weeks.
And my money, because I really do believe, because we've been pretty accurate in our predictions, Keith and I, that when movies are going to tank, and I think his Superman's not going to do well.
I'd be surprised. I know it's got the green light, but I'd be surprised if it maintains its holding once they start moving people around after the merger.
I believe
that's interesting.
They're going to do it, but I believe it's going to change. And if they want to attract someone like a Michael B. Jordan, they will make the proper change with it, meaning that it'll be switched from Clark Kent to probably Calvin Ellis or some other character closer in resemblance to what they have in the comics.
Thank you, Toxic Man Flu, for that.
It's not the first Superman movie to get buried.
Well, I don't want anyone.
It's not going to get buried. It's definitely going to get seen, but I think there are going to be some changes. Basically, I think a lot of the people with Discovery are coming in from the AT&T side of things to support and basically prop up what they are wanting to do. Meaning that if you're a big fan of what AT&T has been doing up to this point, this is probably even better news to that side. Now, could this affect the Snyder stuff? Probably. I'm not going to flat out say that this is going to lead to the return of the Snyderverse immediately, but it could lead us down that road. At this point, you need to understand and look at the three big characters that we've been talking about. Ann Sarnoff, Toby Emmerich, and of course our boy Wally. And at this at this point, Ann, who was one of the people that was also kind of connected to J.J. Abrams, it looks like Ann's gone. And it looks like all of that talk about Toby possibly going to Netflix and stuff was probably Toby finding out that his job could be on the line. And, well, he woke up this morning with more than just a horse head. So it looks like Toby's
before. Back when, because I had insiders into the Marvel Comics shakeup before it happened, because I'm friends with a lot of people that work at Marvel. And I heard about the lunch meeting that was going to bring about the demise of the two heads of Marvel Comics. And right after that lunch meeting, the second in charge jumped ship and went to DC. Well, the other guy stuck around. But the problem is they put another guy in there that's still part of the problem.
Yeah.
They fired him, but they put a guy in there that's part of the same crew.
Yeah, well,
I'm hoping that Discovery does things that they get people in there that fucking give a shit about the business.
Yes. I think really they're wanting this to succeed. They're wanting to basically take on and win against Disney Plus in the short term, and also survive all of this stuff that's coming in the long term. I think they've got the right kind of attitude towards all of this. Now, I've been hearing the name Jeff Zucker mentioned a lot. Jeff Zucker used to run NBC, and now he's been running CNN for a few years. But he used to be the guy at NBC and headed up a lot of their programming. If he manages to pull off the hat trick of being put in charge and take Toby's old job of running Warner Brothers, that'll be a hat trick. That'll be a hat trick. And he definitely knows about entertainment and dealing with stars.
He also knows how to deal with stars.
I think depending on who you ask, how well he deals with stars is a different thing. But he knows how to deal with actors and projects. There has needed to be a change at Warner Brothers for quite a while. As I and Gary have been talking about on our show, it just seems like these last few years have just been not good for Warner Brothers and the way that they do things. And now it's just time for a change. AT&T coming in and just continually watching everything just go to pot under the people that were in charge of Warner Brothers was just pretty much the last straw. And
charge.
They just, as I said the last time we actually talked about this, I said eventually there's going to come a day when AT&T is going to walk through the door and take off the belt and say the beatings will now commence. And that's exactly what happened.
Wait. I got to highlight something quickly. I've never seen Keith more happy when he's inciting violence, where he says the belt's coming off and there will be beatings commencing. He got really excited. He's just picturing Hamada getting spanked by a leather belt, folded over twice.
Hamada's not the one I'm picturing. I'm picturing Toby, because Toby just needs to go. He just, more so than Hamada, Toby needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Toby fits better at Disney with his behavior than he does at
Well,
work.
Hamada's problem is, and the reason why Hamada had to go is he's a shitty manager. He keeps hiring fucking idiots. And if you can't hire the right people, then you're not the right person for the fucking job.
Isn't he like James Wan's boy?
That's the thing.
What's that?
He's like James Wan's boy?
Yeah.
And in the opposite direction. He's Toby's boy. Toby brought him in.
Yeah, and Wan is just somebody. I mean, I don't blame Wan for anything. I think that James Wan is a great fucking filmmaker. And
Aquaman 2 is going to be... Look, James Wan and the Aquaman films are fine. There's no problem. In fact, everybody's very happy with what he's done with Aquaman. So there's no confusion on that end.
The special effects kind of bothered me on that movie. But.
Well, that was part of the rush deal to get their window at the end of the year.
There was no special effects in that movie. That was all real.
And on top of that, Juan and his entire team had to jump through so many hoops just to try and reconcile what the Snyderverse to something that Aquaman could be stood on its own. And they did a fairly decent job. I mean, I didn't love the film, but I was like, you can sit back and watch this without any glaring issues.
Exactly. I will never watch it a second time, but I watched it once.
Completely disagree. I don't like Namor being Aquaman. That is weird. Fucking Namor.
I want them to make Namor a villain.
That would be interesting.
Well, he starts out as a villain.
If you have to get rid of T'Challa, I'd like to have Namor be the one to take him out, and then everybody can hate Namor.
Well, there is something, Henry Goulding, who I think is the guy that was cast to be Snake Eyes, would be a great. Yeah, I know. He would be a great Namor. In my opinion.
Yeah,
he would make a much better Namor than Snake Eyes.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Didn't they want that one guy who played Dracula to be Namor?
Which Dracula?
Bram Stoker?
The Untold.
Oh, that actor. You know what? He's a little older. If you get Henry Golding, who's younger, you can do more movies with him.
They're gonna
That's
they're
really
gonna
what
want
that
to
comes
get
down
somebody around 35. They're not going to get somebody already in their 40s.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? 10 years ago, yes, he probably would have been the perfect Namor. But after a certain point, you got to think about sequels. You got to think about other appearances. And considering who Namor actually is and where he ranks within the Marvel hierarchy, you want somebody young enough to do a lot of stuff. And my personal...
And Henry Golding will get women in the seats.
Yes, and more ways than one. But it'll be something that I think if you know Marvel history and if Kevin Feige's smart, Namor will become the new focal point of Marvel for right now, because Namor is, along with Captain America and the original Human Torch, they are the oldest 3 IPs of Marvel by a lot. Because all the other stuff that people know from Marvel, all that stuff came after Stan Lee took over, and that's in the 60s. I'm talking about characters that go all the way to the 1930s and 40s. And there are only 3 characters that are still around from that point of Marvel. All other characters that you know are all post-1960, 61, starting with Fantastic Four. So Namor is important. And he is...
and it's sad.
Well, he's also the first mutant.
And by the way,
retroactively
were you
made
talking
him
about Luke Evans, the actor?
Yeah.
That played
Yeah,
Dracula?
Luke Evans. Yeah.
Here, hold on a second. Let me share. I mean, he's 42. He could slip in under the wire. And he would be... laugh at my fucking shit. Fuck you.
You said slip in. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a pervert.
But there you go.
All
This
right.
is Luke Evans. Here you go.
All right. Ladies in the chat and anyone else who likes
They're going to love this
listening,
photo.
Crisco men.
There you go.
Now,
He's
just
the guy with
guys,
the orange
blow them a
shorts.
kiss, Keith. Just blow them a kiss. That was good.
Wait, is that the same?
That's
Which
the actor
one's
they
it?
were
I don't
referring
know.
to play Namor.
You know, if
Either
he can
one.
maintain that physique for another 5 years, he could do it.
Yeah.
I think he could pull it off. But I don't know who they're going to go with. This is a crapshoot. It's going to be interesting to see what the fuck happens.
It's a logical choice. There's your Namor. Enjoy that. There it is, right there. I
He's
can
part of the
float
think
and everything.
Despite what
He's back
people
and
think,
forth.
that deep set belly button is really good for swimmers.
What?
Okay. We're getting weird now with belly buttons now. I can't
we've been
put
on
it in
Marvel.
my taste.
Marvel
Shall we
for
just
the last
refer
few
to it
minutes.
as your naval base?
I have to quickly cut in.
Yeah.
There you go. Zathers does not understand.
Well, now what were you saying, Script?
Well, we've just been talking a little bit of Marvel for the last few minutes, but the whole discussion really after Aquaman is it's Warner Brothers and Discovery. So the one thing that Discovery has over Warner Brothers and HBO and HBO Max at this point is they really know how to identify their audience and lean into what they want. I mean, the daytime television and the home and garden and home decor shows make a lot of money. I was just telling another person that those shows are to Discovery what Star Trek was to Viacom back in the day. It prints money. It's not a massive amount by comparison to like Star Wars or any of the other larger franchises, but it's enough to keep them in the good standings for a long time. It's why Discovery, I think, is estimated at 16 billion in value or 17 billion in value, and their debt is pretty small in comparison on top of that. So they're really in a good stable condition. The only concerns that I have is that whoever they bring over from the Discovery side of things to oversee Warner Brothers, film and television are not the same thing, especially when you throw streaming involved. And if Warner Brothers is still committed to returning to a theatrical model, they need to figure out who knows how to work in development of feature films for that model and reconcile it with the quality that they want to promote with their with what they're used to doing prior to, because again, unscripted TV, it's got a lot more post-production turnaround time than scripted television. And on top of that, as unscripted as it is, there are usually bullet points and people like I know some people that worked for Property Brothers for years. They already have their end game plan all set and ready to go, and it's just them trying to figure out how to get there once the cameras start rolling. And
right, but that's with literally any design show. That it is not real life at all. Everything is very cookie cutter. It's very strategic. They pick people very deliberately. It's not real life. I can attest to that for a fact. It is not real life.
no, they have their bullet points, and they also say, we're this far into the coverage of the show. We need to have a little dramatic beat moment, so we're going to insert something here. What is it that we can do that fits within your gentleman's skill set that you can solve quickly? And then they stage it out. But it's usually like they find out about that a day going into, because again, the people that are quote unquote writing the show are also experts in the field as well, and they're basically keeping an eye on the progress and being like, we see an opportunity for this type of dramatic turn to really get people wondering, is this project going to succeed or not, whether it be like a landscaping deal or a house deal, or there's something like a designer's dealing with a retailer trying to get product in that it's on back order or some garbage like that. All those things factor in, and they like to roll with it a lot for the drama. Trying to take that type of formula into something a bit more in your genre field of things that Warner Brother likes to do is going to be very tricky. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have the ancillary management overhead saying like this is how we keep things kind of reined in. Then they have to bring in the various creative managers to reconcile that formula to try and make it actually sustainable within both versions of your streaming and your theatrical. And then on top of that, you're looking at a much broader market of content for their streaming services. With you're getting your at-home people, then you're getting your genre people, then you're getting your dramas, and then you're getting your kind of everything in between sort of thing. So that's really diversifying their content appeal so that they can get that large base of subscribers into basically what will be HBO Max. And maybe they might start rebranding another part where they do an umbrella system where you buy into the umbrella and you get HBO Max and Discovery streaming and whatever else they have. Because AT&T is not going to give up their name. AT&T is going to still be the name of this company once the merger happens. I'm pretty sure of that. I'd be surprised if they change it. But AT&T is going to use this as a means to allow them to expand their service network reach into other districts that they didn't have access to, so that they can just be a dominant streaming power. They'll probably never overtake Netflix. They'll probably never overtake Amazon, but they'll be the bronze medal of streaming, I think, by the end of next year, 2023.
I agree here, Script, because look, Netflix is the only one that could lose the race. And the only way they would lose is if they hurt their business so much that they start losing a large number. And that's the only way anybody else would ever catch up with them. Yep,
exactly.
Now, I have to quickly jump in, and we have to set Gary off because he has to go out and look for some things. He has to go pick up some dead animal skins and make some pierogies. So we're going to send him off the proper way.
I don't know what that means. And I'm not going to go back on camera until you put me back in the panel. Thank you. I like it when Keith is center of attention. This is much better. We're going to be debuting our new art for Pop Culture Minefield this Friday of Keith and me, drawings I did of Keith and me. We're all like looking off into the distance. It'll be cute. Mikey Sutton's going to be our guest. Stephen will be there. Script Doctor, because he's got some sort of day job doing something. I don't know what it is he does. Wednesday. He might show up at the tail end, but God damn it, I wish he'd get laid off so we can have him on the show regularly.
I don't want to get laid off.
The one big thing, though, Gary, because I want to talk to you later about it, because I did look over some of the artwork in the script. The Chuck Dixon we're having on with Frank Fosco on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so it's going to be an interesting thing.
Because Frank and I don't know each other. He's one of the people that works with Chuck I've never met. And it's been interesting getting to know him and checking out his artwork. Yeah, it's gonna be great having them on this Wednesday. And Chuck Dixon, is a comic god, and so if people don't show up for watching what he has to say, you guys are L7, man. You guys are L7.
All right, man. Gary, I thank you for coming.
Oh, I'm sorry. In Canada, they don't use squares, so that means square. Somebody is square. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. Were you guys in the 50s?
Keith, I'll
I don't
start
know.
writing
Was Canada ever in the 50s?
I'm gonna.
No, we're there though. It's gonna be a few more months, and then we'll get into the 50s. Because we still got the milkman. That's cool.
I'm gonna make a Kijiji.
I heard you guys
post.
don't have that anymore.
I'm gonna make a Kijiji post to find a new Gary for Keith. I'm gonna do it right after this.
Well, there's a suggestion with the way things have been going. I could be replaced by that person. but we don't want to get into that.
No, go get your stuff, Gary. Thank you for dropping by.
We moved this weekend, so I got to go pick up some stuff and pick up my. I got the diabetes, so I got to get my medicine. And but I'll come back and watch you guys. I'll probably rejoin in the chat. And,
awesome.
And I didn't get to say this before, Monkey Jeebus. Hey man, fuck you. Okay, dude.
Okay.
All right, bye guys. Thanks, Steven. I love Keith. All right, bye.
Bye, brother.
I like you, Script Doctor. Kate, you're okay.
And with that, we are going to segue into what most people are here to talk about. We're going to call that the 31-minute mark, where I'm going to cut this first half into a video later on. Welcome to Keith Chimes In, Babylon 5, where I told most people who never listened to me, Season 2, Episode 1, so we can start discussing and do little mild spoilers over time. I hate you, sir. I am not looking at that right now. Nope, no, look at my bacon. No, look at my bacon. That's all you get is my bacon. And no, you're still doing it. There, I'm going to cover it up with super fat. You make it closer, man. But with that is the halfway mark. Welcome everyone who's coming. What do you have? Hold on. I'm gonna put my targets on Keith. Hold still while I shoot you. I'm so screenshotting that later. Look, we can make them smaller. But other than that, I hope everyone's having a good day. I want to have some fun. Keith wanted to talk about the Discovery and AT&T stuff first, so we'll make that a second segment later on and cut it off, but we'll keep the main live stream going. Welcome to Fat Steven. Let's get into it.
Okay, well, everybody had an assignment, and that was to watch Season 2, Episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
So, how many people have actually completed that assignment?
I rewatched it because I'm like almost done to Season 5 now, so I've been watching nonstop. I can't help myself. I love his background noise. What about the rest of you guys?
I saw the episode a few weeks ago, so I should be okay still.
All right. Kate?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Everyone's done their homework.
Halfway through the second season.
Ooh.
Wow.
Zach says finish your homework. His homework. My bad. Shane Nolan, yes. And all right, so where do you want to start with first? Do we want to start?
Well, the name of the episode is Points of Departure.
Yep.
And it marked a change for the show. So those of you who made it to that episode and finished it, you find out that Commander Sinclair has been recalled to Earth and that he's not coming back to Babylon 5. And we're introduced to Captain John Sheridan and the Agamemnon. Ooh, geez, that's a great ship. Who gets the call to actually become the new commander of Babylon 5. And he's brought in to mainly look for a Minbari ship that has been missing since the Battle of the Line.
Yeah, but Sheridan has a name that is known by the Minbari, and some of the So what is the name that most people remember? Because
the nickname that he earned is Star Killer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you thought that was really, really cool, there's a movie called In the Beginning where they recreate that entire sequence. That's the thing about the Babylon 5. When they had an opportunity, they actually recreated some of that stuff with the made-for-TV movie called In the Beginning, which is set during the Earth Minbari War, to show you where all these characters were, or during the war. So you get a chance to actually relive that entire sequence, and it's actually kind of cool. So, I think this episode really. And also, it also picks up after the end of the final episode of season 1, which was Chrysalis, and we see that Garibaldi is still in med lab, in a coma, and that the situation for him is touch and go, basically at this point. And Delenn is still in her chrysalis, her cocoon. And pay very close attention to that device that she used in that episode Chrysalis, because you're going to see it again. It's one of the really cool things. There's lots of stuff in this episode that's going to come back to play. But a very well done episode overall, you know. I think this one was actually written by J. Michael Straczynski himself. So, and in my opinion, a great introduction to the world of Babylon 5, including giving you lots of information that if all you did was watch season 1, you're still asking yourself, well, wait a minute. So you got a lot of information dumped on you in this one episode.
There was a lot, yeah, especially if you had never watched season 1 or you're coming in fresh. Like season 2 episode 1's a great choice because it dumps a lot on you, but it also dumps a lot of mystery on you where you automatically want to go ahead, and you're also kind of thinking about going back, even watching a few episodes that led up to it. So it was a great point to choose, Keith. It was honestly a great point.
Yeah. So what did you guys think in the panel?
I love it. It's showing that things are growing. They're doing subtle hints that a great enemy is on the return. And when you hear that, you're like, great enemy, what's going down? And they do it in such a way that when the characters interact, everyone has a character arc. Everyone is connected in a certain way, especially when it comes to the crew. The crew is not just like the Babylon 5 crew, but it's the alien ambassadors as well. And they all seem to have this interaction where they give them little hints of what's going to come later on. And they actually will come later on, whether the next episode or 4 episodes down the road. And it grabs you. It grabs you like a doctor asking you to cough. That's how good it grabs you.
Well, and again, this is what happens when you have, first of all, people that are good writers who have decided to plan things out. This is what you can do with all of your characters, rather than just having people sort of exist, characters that exist in the background or float through, like Discovery. You can actually build things with all of your characters. And so you can turn them from being one-dimensional into three-dimensional characters, people that the audience can care about. So how about you, Kate? What'd you think?
I didn't like the first episode that much of the season. I didn't.
Oh.
And I'm probably an outlier, whereas like if that was the first I saw, I'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's very melodramatic for no reason. So.
Yeah. That's all right. Again, this is not normally what you're into, so you know.
Well, no, I mean it's very soapy, and that's fine. I grew up watching soap, so a lot of the stuff that's like mysterious and like I saw that coming a mile away. But it's not like it's bad. It's not. I'm not saying I'm not critiquing it poorly. It's just like it's not very fast paced compared to like how it picks up right after, or even like leading up to it. It just kind of comes to this stop, and then we're going to rearrange everything for the sake of it, and then like I think of it that way. So
well, there's a reason why changes had to be made.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean I get that, and they do near the end of the episode they do start to kind of hint to why like this, that, and the other thing happened, and that's so you're going to watch more. But it's just really, I don't know. It just feels forced to me.
Well, there's a real life reason why changes had to be made. This is one of the things about Babylon 5 and their writers in making sure that when things happen in real life, that you can incorporate it onto the show. And what it came down to is that the lead actor, his health wasn't the best. And it was decided that rather than try to go through a season 2 with him, that it'd be better to make a change and allow him to go off and handle his business, which he did. So having, it took them quite a while to actually talk about some of the stuff going on with Michael O'Hare. And J. Michael Straczynski himself waited years to tell everybody what was going on. So what it came down to is that Michael O'Hare had a lot of he had some it's the easiest way to put it. He had some certain personal issues, mental issues, that he had to handle. And while it never was a problem for the people filming the show, it did create some interesting things behind the scenes, especially for Straczynski and a lot of what they were doing.
Oops, my bad.
And
it disappeared.
And so
there we go. Is that it, Keith? Pretty much. Do you want me to read that, or do you want to read that?
Yeah, you can go ahead and read it.
I apologize for cutting you off as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pretty much, like you were saying, he did reveal after O'Hare's death, the actor had suffered from severe mental illness. During the filming of the first season of Babylon 5, O'Hare began having paranoid delusions, and halfway through, his hallucinations worsened. It became increasingly difficult for O'Hare to continue working. His behavior was becoming increasingly erratic, and he was often at odds with his colleagues. Straczynski offered to suspend production for months to accommodate treatment. However, O'Hare feared that such a hiatus would put the series at risk, and he didn't want to jeopardize others' jobs. Straczynski agreed to keep O'Hare's condition secret to protect his career, and O'Hare agreed to complete the first season, but would be written out of the second season so that he could seek treatment. His departure from the cast was announced without explanation, except that it was mutual and amicable. Sadly, his treatments were only partially successful when he reappeared in a cameo.
Well, we can stop right there. I don't want to reveal too much.
That's it.
Thank you for reading that.
That's all I was going to read. I wasn't going to go any farther.
Yeah, that was it. But as you can see, that it having someone who was your lead not be around anymore is kind of a traumatic thing, and bringing in a new lead is something that could have gone wrong. I think in this particular case, they found an actor who was more than suited to play the part. And I think it helped that Straczynski wrote the part to fit who he was as a person. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you could have people playing parts where you just get a little like that doesn't suit them. And in this particular instance, writing the part to suit the actual actor, Bruce Boxleitner, was incredible, and it worked out big time.
Oh, but he was such a fresh. He looked like a young duckling when he came on. When this scene came on, he's like, Agamemnon here. What's going down, Mr. President? Hello, yeah, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna bust out cupcakes and take it to the Menbari. But it was a weird charisma, but it was a good charisma. He was like, he had all this experience in the Battle of the Line, but he's like, I just ate my first box of marshmallows and I'm out to save the world. It was weird the way it was, but it kept you going. Sorry, kid. Yeah. You off either.
Disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
Okay, you didn't like him?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
Because he's boring.
That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
Look, you're among friends, Kate. I'm not the type of person to hate on anyone because they disagree with something. And it's fine. again, this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but this kind of storytelling is different. It was different back in the 90s because you'd never, a lot of audiences here in the States weren't used to this. You got to remember, this is pre-Lost.
Yeah.
Never watched Lost.
You saved yourself a lot of time.
Yeah. I know. I do. I mean, like, I watched All My Children, so I see a lot of the overlap there, and that kind of soapy writing. So
yes.
If you're just focusing in on like one episode, it's like, yeah, I don't like it. It's boring. It's really dry, and I'm really dry, so that's saying something. And it's just like we're gonna get along, and I'm just this dork who got a job, and I don't know if I want it. It's like, like how do you? I can't. I just can't. But it does become better. I'm not saying it's all bad. It becomes better.
Oh, that's great. I love the opposite opinions and perspectives. That's why we did this, man. That's awesome.
Yep. How about you, Script?
I mean, I like Sheridan. Yeah, I think he's more interesting than Sinclair. I like the fact that as soon as he gets to Babylon 5 and he finds out about showers and oranges and stuff, he's like, "Oh my God, this is great! This is what I want. I haven't had this in years."
Water.
I do like that. That was a nice touch.
It showed a little bit of a personality, and I like the fact that his command style is very different from Sinclair's.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we can all note is that Straczynski did not really do a whole lot of changes in regards to who between Sinclair and Sheridan, because they have the same initials. He's pretty much keeping everything the same formula. And he is doing his best to try and reconcile what his plans were for Sinclair into this new character of Sheridan. It's very, very obvious that they're supposed to originally be the same person, but can't because of poor, sadly, unfortunate circumstances with O'Hare, who also, in my opinion, would have made an amazing Shadow if he didn't have his issues.
Yeah.
He's got the look, he's got the voice. But that's a whole nother thing. Sheridan was more Kirk? I don't think so.
He was not banging everyone on that station. If he was, he would have had every type of syphilis out of the
Well, I mean, Kirk doesn't really bang everyone either, but Sheridan, like, as this season progresses, you find out how dedicated Sheridan was to his wife. Yeah. And how much he really not just loved her, but liked her and liked to talk to her and all that stuff. Like it was a very deep thing, and Bruce Boxleiter really sold it. But that's, I think, episode 2 or 3 of Memory Serves when they bring that up.
That's great, Toxic. That's great. Thank you.
The other thing about Sheridan is that as you're getting all this information about him, and they're having to front load a lot of stuff because, again, you're having to bring in a brand new character, yet keep the overall story running, is that there is something about his past that I think you don't even learn until the 5th season that is kind of important, but that they held off until season 5. And it was very surprising when you found out exactly what it was. So there are still some surprises about Sheridan and his life that have yet to unfold if all you've done up to this point is just watch season 2.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Okay, Monkey, how about you, man?
I liked Sheridan more because he's Tron. It's like I can't.
Oh my God.
That's true. I'm a fanboy. It's Tron.
You know what? I don't blame you, man, because I'm a Tron fan too.
Don't tell me you're the types that were sitting there going, "He's gonna say user this episode. Any money, he's gonna say user. I want to hear user just once."
That's not bad, but no.
I wanted to see him de-res him and Bari.
I like Bruce, but I liked him in Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Oh God.
Well, again, Bruce is one of those actors that I've always liked. He's got a very easygoing style. He's one of these people that I think it's difficult for him to actually, quote unquote, play a character. It's almost like every part that he takes is pretty much just a different version or a different variation on the same thing. And in that respect, he's a lot like William Shatner or John Wayne, or Keanu Reeves. It is really hard to see Keanu try to, quote unquote, completely become someone else. It's just easier just to let him be Keanu, just with a different name character,
I would say the difference is that Keanu doesn't have the same type of gravitas with charm that Boxleiter and John Wayne and Shatner have, because that's the one thing that's kind of consistent, is that they have like a stamp of how they execute their charm when they're with other people, whether it's like a romantic interest or just a friend or something. There's something familiar there across all the roles that they play. With Keanu, it's more, I think it's more the way he executes his dialect, so to speak. There's like, he tried to change it with Dracula, and it did not go over well. But he's got a certain way he holds himself and a certain way he comes at a role that is very familiar, that prevents you from kind of getting lost into who the character is and constantly just seeing Keanu to a point. What's interesting, though, is that he has the same acting teacher as the guy who played Will, whose name is Will from Will and Grace, whose name is escaping me at the moment.
Eric McCormick.
Yeah, Eric McCormick. And Eric McCormick can get lost in some characters. Have you ever seen some of his TV movie stuff? Have you ever seen some of his the actual feature films that he's done, which are few and far between, unfortunately? He becomes kind of pretty much unrecognizable unless they say, do your Woody Allen thing, in which case he just leans right into it. But yeah, like, that's just to show that, that's what I liked about Bruce, is that he has this type of charm that's always consistent throughout all the roles he plays. Even when he's playing, like, a more contentious guy, it's like, well, he still kind of brings that in, and it's funny.
Manflu asks, wasn't he married to Melissa Gilbert?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say for now.
When I saw him at Comic-Con, he was all over Cindy Morgan.
Well, that's because they used to act together, and I think they were romantic at one time. They were in a relationship, but I had great chemistry with her. In fact, when I was watching Babylon 5 originally, when this was being broadcast, they were talking about his wife. I was thinking at one time that it was going to be Cindy Morgan cast. So, all that's going to come to play. You're going to see more of this stuff, and that's all I can say without spoiling too much, because I am the anti-spoiler guy. I really do want you guys to try to come at this fresh and to have your own ideas and opinions about it.
Is anyone hoping Keith will do that and saying I'm an anti-spoiler guy, but he has all the spoilers written on his hand, so when he's holding them up the camera, everyone can see what he just spoiled?
What?
That'd be funny. Have to be something that isn't actually spoilable, just because then it's fun.
Yeah. Toxic Manflu says, script, your mouth out? Keanu's performance in Dracula was Oscar worthy. Oscar Mayer, that is.
Yeah, I don't know how Keanu got away with doing Hamlet without reading it or agreeing to do Hamlet, because of the line "totally excellent" that is in a 500-year-old play.
I think it would have been better if he was sitting like sad Keanu on that meme bench and then doing Hamlet. I think it would have been better, holding the sandwich in his skull.
I think he should totally reprise doing that. That'd be great.
To be or not to be sad Keanu? That is the question.
I will say this. Keanu would have been an excellent Namor about 10, 15 years ago. He's definitely built like a swimmer. But again, he's...
Or if he did that instead of Constantine, that could have been fun.
It would have been a lot of fun. In fact, wait a minute. Let me think about that.
It's like, do it.
Okay, well, you think about that. We're going to put some built on the screen for everyone right there. Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know what? Keanu is closer to my age. So That would have
Yeah, he's
been
50. He's
yeah.
around 50. So it would have been like, yes, so it would have been like closer to 20 years ago. We would have.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be more like it.
He's like one of the Eternals, like Paul Rudd.
Yes, he ages very well. I mean, I like Keanu, but on that course, it's like I hate Keanu.
Well, you know, they all go to that one place up in Europe. It's like where Keith Richard goes, and what they do is they drain all their blood and they take new blood from people that are really healthy and just wipe the whole body, and they have another 10 years of life. That's how they do.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Keith Richards says he only goes there. He doesn't really go there. He died about 35 years ago, and his body hasn't caught up yet. So,
wait, so you're telling me there's like a super stretch Armstrong Richards just wandering
The heroin's a
around?
preservative.
all the drugs and everything he's ever done has pretty much made him impervious to anything that happens. He's the only person that does not need a COVID shot.
He slowly embalmed himself
no,
over the years.
not him. Anything but him. So.
All right, and with that, I have to.
Oh God.
It has his war cry.
Yes.
Anyway,
Keith is being held together from all the gear he has done. What?
The lady boy war cry.
Lake House is my go-to movie when I need to binge and get out. What? No.
Binge and purge the lake.
Why don't I send you the Notebook and get it over with? Well, here it is. James Andrew Morrison, The Blood of Virgins. Maybe that explains the amount of male feminists they're making blood donors. Oh. You might have something there. How to make an SJW.
Oh, man. Anyway, what does everyone else in the chat think? How did you guys like episode 1, season 2 of Babylon 5?
Yeah, leave it in the chat and we will bring on that comment if I see it. Keanu looked much older in Bill and Ted. Lighting is his friend. Yeah.
Lighting is everybody's friend.
Yeah.
And hello, Tickle Trunk. We see you there. I'm still loving that avatar when he pops up.
Yeah,
Where
I have the John Wick Mezco figure, and people complain about saying like it doesn't look like Keanu, but if you put it in some lighting, it does. So it's like I'm trying to tell people that people don't like the actors don't look like they do on screen.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of makeup and lighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Camera angles.
Yeah. Faces are not as symmetrical as you think they are. That's all trickery of the camera.
It's all an illusion.
Zintax says they loved it. Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen it before. I know Zach's liked it. Nerdporial thinks he's the Kirk and he's doing the nasty with the Enterprise, so I'll leave it at that. Because that's his wife. Technically, he's right. They're right.
So he's like Lando in his ship.
Well, he's constantly inside the Enterprise, so there's that.
Well, he is. He opens up that dilithium chamber when no one's looking, and he makes it go to warp speed. I'm sorry, Keith. I'm trying to be as progressive as possible.
Yeah, yeah. I know you're really trying. So.
I am. Are
they going to retcon everything to use a spore drive?
12 or more. I have to sit this one out. No, we're actually talking season 2, episode 1. You're fine, Tickle. It's actually discussing the episode, so you're good, man. Bring what you want. It was better than Star Trek. I'm not reading that.
You know what? Lost is better than Star Trek Discovery, but that's an incredibly low bar.
The polka dot door is better than Discovery, for God's sakes.
I miss polka dot door.
I miss Pokeroo. That thing scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
I used to see him around town growing up.
I loved the EP. Here we go. D says something. I rated it. I like the change in captain and add more mystery to the show. And Lando Malari started to get really interesting. Well, he started becoming a dick. He wasn't caring about his actions.
He was already a dick.
No, I know that, but he was like a feather duster dick. It was really weird with the hair sometimes. I loved it.
He looks like that George Tsoukalos guy.
The episode was so transitional, it made me anxious for episode 2. I can kind of agree with that because, yeah, I couldn't stop watching. I just put it on. I had the next speaker on, had it on in the back, and was just watching it when I wanted to, and I loved it.
Oh, the first 5 episodes of season 2 are really engaging because that's where everything kind of gets like the reset, so to speak, kind of ends around that point, and things are kind of getting into a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you can binge those quite easily.
It is funny how they like blatantly point that out in the conversation.
Yeah.
I like this episode. Looking back it was the start of the series. I would look forward to watching every week. Makes sense. I think the first season was kind of its weakest, depending on the type of person watching it. It also on how the delivery was, because I think Sheridan was more of the following the rules of the military or whatever was running the station, over Sinclair. Wait, I got backward. Sinclair was more following the rules, while Sheridan was more following the rules, but a backup plan in case those rules seemed fishy to him.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, it comes down also to the fact that you had someone that was able to, who wasn't expecting to take that position. The thing about Sinclair, especially after the Battle of the Line, is that his character was not an upwardly mobile character.
No.
He wasn't really expecting to do very much other than just serve out the rest of his time in the military. And I think the only reason why he stayed is that he had no other place to go. Everything that happened to him was something that I think he was curious in the mystery of what happened. But he couldn't find any traction to go beyond where he was to be able to find more things out. But that's what I like about that character. He is more of the common man, whereas Sheridan is more of the almost action type, near mythical type of hero, whereas Sinclair is just the everyman. So that's what I liked about him.
Yeah. Tickle Trunk says they did a decent job introducing the new captain by tying him to Ivanova's past. We like and trust her character, so after the next 3 episodes, that they pepper in more of that into the season. I can agree, because I like when her character starts branching out. We start seeing more than we expected. Not spoiling it anymore. Zintac M says, "Do you know the conversation? No, sorry. Do you know that the Convention of Genetic Defectives decided they will do nothing? Ragish 3 is too far away." Londo Malari, Season 1, Episode 1.
Londo is one of my favorite story arcs.
Yeah,
as far as that is an incredible story arc. So
he literally, I'll read Tickle Trunk in a second, but it's like he literally, if you're looking at it from the largest perspective, he's as himself became from a jackass to a man who didn't care about his choices and for selfish greed, became the villain, then became an anti-villain and worked his way through. If you actually think about it, he went through all the type of kind of tropes when you're trying to set up a story, a villain or a hero or something. That's the way I saw it.
And if you add in what you learned from in the beginning, which also, has Londo in it, spoiler, you can actually see, you get this whole picture of Londo, and it is just, it's fascinating, and it's funny and sad at the same time, an incredible performance by Peter Jurassic. So,
Tickle Trunk says JMS is a sci-fi fan himself, so he knows how hard the transition was going to be, and he's really good at rolling with the punches and writing around necessary changes. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. His, like I said, he's published books about writing and screenwriting especially. And then I think he just got done with his own biography called Becoming Superman. Which is wow. From what I've heard,
he has a really contentious family.
Oh yeah. I think JMS is one of the few people that just seems to be able to. You can definitely tell he grew up on all this stuff: science fiction, comics, everything. And he's really good at being able to switch gears between a lot of this different stuff. Anybody that can write one of the best seasons of Twilight Zone, post real Twilight Zone, has to be on your list of like people that are just really good at their jobs.
Yeah.
To be able to write Murder, She Wrote, Captain Power, He-Man, Babylon 5, and go all the way to even something like Thor, the first Thor movie that he wrote the screenplay for. To do all of that, you got to have something going on, you know. So I'm a fan.
Well, I am a fan too.
I liked his Rising Stars and then his Supreme Power comics. They were pretty good.
Very good. Very good at that.
Now, before we push on, we have a dragon who's finally joining us, and welcome Memes. We snagged him back again. Hello, Memes. Oh shit! Watch your
Though
ears.
I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice!
Oh, hey guys, what's going on? My apologies for my tardiness. On.
Oh, that's all right.
That's cool. But I want to ask you first of all, since to get caught up, Memes, have you watched season 2, episode 1 yet?
I have.
And
thank you. I watched that thing. I'm like, okay, so I completely understand where they get the Expanse from. And even about a day or so before, I was talking with one of my physicsy friends about quote unquote metaphysics. And at some point in there, I'm like, holy crap, they were thinking about the same things that I was like 20 or 30 years ago. Dude, it's freaking awesome.
Oh, longer than that.
Oh, well, it's good to know that you really, really like it. That's good to hear. We were just talking about J. Michael Straczynski. If you're really interested, he's written quite a few books and a book about his life story. So I know he's spending a lot of time on that. And as I was just about to say, he's one of the few people that I think, if anything were to ever happen and you needed someone to come in and help out Warner Brothers with one of their comic book films, he could probably do it. He could probably write something really good. Personally, I think JMS would be the perfect person to lead Paramount if they ever decided to, if they ever found a way to go beyond Kurtzman and get out of that deal with him
He would
and
be
start
amazing.
Star Trek again. He'd be great.
He would be perfect if they know how they were talking about like bringing up the DS9 like sequels and shit stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
He would handle it perfectly. And before I do anything, because someone brought in Jakar and Londo, I wanted to show this quickly. I love these two so much. Look at the guy in the middle. He's just like, I just want to get upstairs. Wait till you see that episode. It is so good.
So how much is improv? Like that's what I really want to know. There's a lot, obviously, but where?
And that's again, you're dealing with a lot of professionals and a lot of people that had stage work. You know, you can tell. It's one of the things that makes this show kind of special.
It's a talented cast, and from what I can see, and just based upon how you were describing everything, it's like, all right, well, where is the Ambat or what's his name and stuff like that? It's like, well, he hasn't been seen. All of a sudden, it's just cut to, it's like, well, a bunch of ships are trying to murk him right now, and then like his comrades and stuff. It's like, no, we're not going to make it. It's like, yes, you will. We're turning around, and I'm just like, they're Leroying him. Holy crap!
Tickle Trunk says they weren't allowed to improv anything, but they had 100% free reign on how they delivered the lines.
Yep. There's even a moment where there was a line written by another writer where Garibaldi is begging Londo to say something, and Londo finally says it. Okay, he says moose and squirrel, and Garibaldi is so happy about it, and they walk away. And Straczynski said, "We're not doing that." Like I remember hearing that story just like when things are being thrown around from like, you know, famous great jokes that never made it to film, and one of them was like, you know, Babylon 5. I didn't quite always get that joke because I never remembered the accent that Londo had at that point, because it had been like a couple of years since I saw the show. But like just you know, watching the show recently all over again, I'm like get it exactly. Like, yeah, Moose, like just because that was
He
totally
probably didn't
in
want to do it
Garibaldi's
because like
wheelhouse, and what
it would be giving away Lando's accent.
yeah.
It's again, this was a cast. They really enjoyed each other's company, so you could definitely tell.
I have a private request, and it comes from one of my mods. Ask Memes to do an impersonation of the movie phone line. His voice sounds just like it. You've reached movie phone. Press 1 for action. Press 2 for why am I doing this? Press 3
I was about to say I have no idea what that is. Okay.
1 second.
Welcome to the movie phone hotline. Press 1 for current schedules. Press 2 for upcoming events. Press 3 for ticket prices. Press 4 if you don't even know why you're here. Press 5 if you would like to speak to somebody else. Press 6. I ran out of options. Recycle.
There you go.
That's very good.
He says he loves
Very
it, so
well
it looks like you have a fan, sir. There you go. Another one bites the dust. We're going to go back quickly. Mr. Triggertron says, behind the scenes, the cast joked with each other constantly. Like many productions with hard hours, few takes, and low budgets, they sort of become a family for a while. That is true. I think that happened with DS9 as well. And then we had John 42. I love Londo's mistaking cats. I remember this. Cats for ducks and came with the line on being nibbled to death by cats. I remember that. It was so good.
I like the whole he's trying to figure out what the hokey pokey means.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the context, that can mean many things. But it's like, oh my god, all these ducks are snuggling with me. What's going on?
But his entire race is like a bunch of men with male pattern baldness.
We prefer aerodynamic.
Well, if they ever go to a rock concert and they headbang, they'll just fan all the fire that's being set up around them quite well.
Yes, because it feels good. Okay, weird.
I will say this
was the best.
Given how we started the show and the information that we had, as a Babylon 5 fan, there's a small piece of me that is hoping that this whole Discovery thing could at least shake a few things loose to get them to at least consider doing something with Babylon 5. Doing something more with Babylon 5. Because that would be, again, that'd be some excellent stuff to add to HBO Max with original programming related to that. Either a new series or a new series of films. That'd be great.
Now, quick question for you.
Yeah.
Specifically, when you talk about that, are you talking about like new material? Do you think it's probably just kind of leave the existing? Because a lot of studios now, they like to go back and kind of redo things, even though you already have this established. You're trying to finick too much, and there's already so much material out there. You could actually bring to television.
For me, you could do something new within the Babylon 5 universe without really having to touch these characters. But the last time
I noticed that they started it's sharing just stories. There was a story about so and so out there. I'm like, all right, so keep the same.
They could do another Rangers show, and then like just give people a taste of it, and then if they want more, they can go into Babylon 5.
Even that,
and then remaster Babylon 5 too, like do all the special effects over again, update them.
They could also do not only the Minbari and Human War, they can also do the first times the Centauri meet the human race and the bullcrap they pulled with like distant cousins, or they can even do the Narn and the Centauri occupation like they did with DS9 and go from there.
Or you can move forward into the future of how the universe is post season 5.
Yeah.
And actually post the sequel series too.
Or they could tell the story of maybe like one of the Minbari dying and then becoming a human.
Don't spoil anything.
Oh, sorry.
Well, technically, it's as long as you've watched the first episode, you know that's at least.
Yeah. So it's not spoiling.
Well, not only that, I mean, they kind of abandoned that part of the story in the show.
Yeah. I remember that JMS had stated that there had been some interest in bringing Babylon 5 back, but it was to redo the whole thing from the beginning. And I don't remember if he was either kind of wary about that. I know he expressed no interest in working on that. But I don't know if he was just to the point where I don't really care if they do it, or, I think it's a bad idea, or, as a fan, I would not have wanted to see that.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I want to quickly answer D. I don't think you can come back from the rim. That's why when you had you can't come back. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think you can come back once they make that choice. The outer rim is something like it. They can't come back, I don't think.
It's kind of like Lord of the Rings in that respect. When you board the boat, for the distant shores, you're not coming back from that.
Yeah,
So,
Beyond the Rim is not something you can return from.
It's also
not a ticket.
Yeah. Andrew Morrison asks, who would you trust to do a good Babylon 5 now, though? I can't think of any studio that wouldn't ruin it. And to add to that quickly, Tickle Trunks says Babylon 5 could have been done redone 10 years ago. Right now, it would be impossible. Kosh would be a female. Delenn would be 6 foot tall and yoked, etc. Yeah.
Which would be very weird for the Minbari, given their 3-class system.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why are all the religious people super huge and strong, and the warrior cast these thin little dwindly people?
Why does every Minbari look like Abby from Last of Us 2? It's Minbari.
They're rogues. They're adding sneak attack damage.
Well, come on, it's Minbari. That'd be hilarious.
You know what? I think there are people, if they were fans, that could do it. But I think you really, in my opinion, I think it's important to really be a fan of science fiction if you're going to take on Babylon 5. You can't be someone coming out of this from a completely different area. You can't be somebody coming from straight up drama, and you can't be somebody coming strictly from comedy. I think it's important to be a science fiction fan, and that if you have any other additional skills, that's fine. You can be a science fiction fan who's done a lot of drama. That's great. You can be a science fiction fan that has done a lot of comedy. That's great too. But you can't come directly out of one of those things and straight into this.
You got to love the subject matter and everything. And I just had an idea if we did want to grab some more attention towards Babylon 5, and my gut instinct after only watching one episode is don't go back and redo it. You have so much other material. You could upgrade it. But if we did want to grab attention for Babylon 5, maybe take at least from what I viewed as the first episode. It's like, yeah, I saw what some people were saying about, oh my God, the effects aren't all that great. The things, man, like the 80s or 90s and stuff now. But now we do actually have the technology with different tools like Blender, like Photoshop and everything like that. It's like, well, couldn't we just take like the specs from these things? I don't know, build it into a big flashy ship, put in like the background of something like No Man's Sky, and I don't know, just at least go from just have like 2 seconds of the scene and kind of be like, whoa, that's freaking cool, and then maybe people pay attention.
What I've been thinking is like, how have these 40K guys making all these short films not done all these changeovers and action scenes with the ships and stuff? Like, this is right there. Just fucking do it.
Some people have. You have fans of Babylon 5 that have created whole original sequences that they posted to YouTube. And you can find a lot of that stuff. It looks amazing.
I bet it
does. I think they could do something. But again, that's going to depend on how things shake out after everything that happened with everything that's going on right now with Warner Brothers. I still think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was just, I just wanted to have fun.
I think we can move into
John
reality.
42. Yeah, John 42. Yeah, that's, I think, what we're all saying. There's so much there that you can key off of. And for those of you who haven't seen the sequel television series, that also is a nice that also was a nice show in the post Babylon 5 universe, showing that you can tell stories with whole new characters, but set in the Babylon 5 universe. Crusade was I thought was a really good show. But that TNT, who owned the rights, they didn't understand it. I mean, they did not understand that show at all.
No, and like the way they delivered it, like the first episode, and the way they were saying it, like how the detriment they put around the Crusade. I'm not gonna go into spoiling. It gave me hopes. Like, oh my god, another Babylon 5's coming. Oh my god. It's like when I first saw the trailers for Stargate Universe, I had hope in the Stargate Universe, and then you start seeing the episodes coming, and it's like you get. It was like not band-aided, but it was like a collage of mixed ideas, but they weren't keeping with the mainline story and outline stories being either an after effect or an under effect of what the characters are going through while they're trying to accomplish their mission. And it just, you'd stay there for one scene and then you flip to a different show and hopefully get back to see another scene. It was, you know what I mean? It was bad.
They were kind of glossing over it.
Picture a lens flare, but then they were like, how much money can we make off this lens flare? And they just did that.
They're like, all right, here's our fancy shot for this episode.
Yeah. And as I brought up last week, Lost Tales would have been a unique opportunity to revisit in ways that would have made fans very happy. And when you reach the point where you're watching Babylon 5 Lost Tales, you'll see what I mean. It was just an anthology show that would have been way easier to make and way easier if you are a fan of these characters. Rather than trying to bring everybody back together, it was a way of just catching up with individual characters and seeing how things progressed, while also telling all new stories set within the Babylon 5 universe. So I thought it was good. I thought it was really well done. I wish the ratings had been better, but we got one movie out of it, one technically a pilot that was well done. Personally, I think you can go, unlike with Star Trek, you can go pretty far into the past with Babylon 5. I'm thinking at least 200-300 years. And again, when you get to season 3 and 4, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, but you're right, Keith, though. But at the same time, they can even go farther back and not even focus on the human race. At this point, they could actually show the evolution of the, if they wanted to, with the Vorlons and the Shadows, you learn, or the older races, and how they eventually inherited the universe. If you were going to say,
if you were going to do that, you could also do episodes where you can just focus on the Minbari as a race, and be able to check in with some of the humans that are there living amongst the Minbari, or have a different way of showing Ranger training. The Babylon 5 The Rangers was a good idea. I wasn't the biggest fan, though, of the pilot that they had, but I liked the idea, so. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I keep thinking, I'm spoiling massive stuff for people by bringing up the Rangers a lot. So.
Yeah, they play sports. That's all they do. Rangers, they play sports.
There's nothing wrong with sport ball.
They also protect your picnic basket.
I like bears.
And they also stop Rita Repulsa from taking over the Earth.
That's true. And they also they eventually go into porn. So it's
and they also perform some amazing rescues with some little furry animals.
Come on, yeah.
I haven't used the Power Rangers theme in one of my workout videos on Pornhub in a while. Thank you.
Oh, you're gonna see him flexing, going Tyrannosaurus, pterodactyl. I thought you have like different muscle poses for like pterodactyls.
No, the dragon can.
Keith is losing his shit. He's like, what the fuck?
Oh wow! I'm sorry. This is just. It's been a day. Again, that Warner Brothers thing just threw me for a loop and kind of made me happy. So,
me too.
Not that I ever want people to lose their jobs.
No. But, the right people need to lose their jobs.
I have a super serious question about AT&T. Do you think they're going to reincarnate their black phone model?
Babylon Zero, I can picture, but it'll just be like all those alien races just floating in space with no metal surrounding them because it's Babylon Zero. There's nothing there.
Well, 10. I like that idea. I like that. I know nothing, but I like it.
no station, just a whole bunch of tables and people just hanging out in space in the orbit.
Yeah. Awesome.
When you get to season 3,
you'll understand.
Was Dano Plato in Baboon 5? I don't remember that.
Dana Plato? Not that I remember.
And that was supposed to be Babylon 5, not Baboon 5.
We're Babon.
Babu, my precious Babu.
It's like Babylon 5 with no calories.
Yeah. The time after during Crusade would be the best place to start, in my opinion. It was a great concept that wasn't realized. I agree with that. Crusade had a lot of potential, and TNT just went, fuck it.
There's a whole story you could tell on Mars now that it's like its own. What happens with Mars? There.
Yes. I mean, where they left Mars was also excellent. I personally think if you're going to do it again, you can just go ahead and set it like 20 years after the events of Crusade and go from there.
Yeah.
You know, see how everything has progressed. And with...
Oh, sorry, I had an idea. Like, can you say that what could happen is the way it ended, right? Because how Crusade ended, what could take off is like, we don't know what happened to Crusade. We never heard from them, so we built another ship to go find them. And you could find out what happened and continues on from the mission there.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to think that they solved the problem because it would be awfully hard if, everybody died. And that's all I want to say about Crusade. That's it.
No. But if I'm not incorrect, Keith, couldn't you almost go if you were to quote unquote redo the series? Couldn't you just do it from completely different perspectives and stuff? And it's like just covering the series and like these stories that happened over here. And if you need to tie it in, literally just play the quick classic scene with like the voiceovers and stuff like that as a quick cutaway.
That's what Lost Tales was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Lost Tales was.
Oh.
It was ways of dipping back because it was made to tell stories from all over the Babylon 5 universe. So you could tell a story that happened during the original Babylon 5 years. You could tell stories post that. You could tell within the Crusade universe. You could go all these different places with it, and audiences just didn't seem to gravitate towards that. And
what is that echo?
Oh, sorry.
Big monkey.
It's okay.
That's what that's what Babylon 5 Crusade was. I mean, not Crusade, but Lost Tales. That's what the Lost Tales was. And it was a way of cheaply doing that because then you could bring in individual actors rather than bringing everybody back. You could just have like let's say a story about the people that worked in the loading and unloading of ships, the cargo bay. And you could have a story take place with that, and you could invite in one of the other actors, like Marcus walking through, or add him into that story.
Well, you said they had like Penn and Teller and so occasional like celebrity guests and stuff too.
Yep.
So
yes.
You have a whole series on Down Below.
Oh yeah. Again, there are all these different places they could take it from. And again, I still think if you set it a few years after Crusade, you have this nice, clean way of going forward while still within the entire universe. And as I said before, the jar.
Yeah,
oh
pick
my
up where that jar left off. Yeah.
Oh, geez, that is. It's so cool, and yet it is painful because we're never gonna find out what happens with the jar.
I have absolutely no context for this. All I know is my mind goes to Captain Jack Sparrow being like, "I have a jar of dirt. I have a jar of dirt." And you got a freaking like octopus face there. It's like, the heck is this guy on?
You got to make it to, I think it's season 4 or season 5.
Yeah.
I think it's season 5.
Season 5, I think. Yeah.
Season 5. Ooh, and that's all I better say because I have just blurted out.
And
it's one of those. It's one of those things where you're on the edge of your seat when you find out. It's like, what? And they're going to do that to me? And it's just like, and I hate to say it, but they end the show. And they had to end the show. But I mean, the jar. So, but yeah. There's all different ways that you could go with this. You could even have an actor be related to Sheridan in the sequel and go from there. So, I will warn you though, when you get to the final episode, because there is a jump in years between the next to last episode and the final episode. There's a jump of a few years there. Get your hankies, get your tissues ready, because you will cry like a baby.
I bet a lot of people in the chat right now are like, is he telling us to get ready to masturbate? What the fuck's going on here?
Rule 34, my friend. Rule 34.
I don't care. I passed Rule 34 3 weeks ago. I don't care anymore. I'm on the Highway 46 now. This goes out of the mouth without thinking.
Both hands on the wheel.
Well, that is a wheel, sir. It's a gear shift. I have to shift it eventually.
Oh, hey. Somebody's
how you doing?
I will say this, Mr. Tickle Trunk, the idea of an animated series would be great. And there's still quite a few of the cast members from Crusade that are still alive. I think really the entire cast of Crusade is still alive. So, yeah, you could do an animated series. Look, you got Bruce Boxleitner and you have the entire cast of Crusade. You could do something.
Yep.
You know, but the way that they left off, that man, I'm going right back to that. Why am I doing that? I'm not. No more about the final episode.
No. If it brings up, I'll just go like mute. But no. But like, we're getting way off topic. But this is awesome. But like, did we ever tell them why Sheridan is called Starkiller?
No, but it's a really good story.
It is.
Basically, during the war, Earth was getting. Well, we were losing. We never won any of the battles we fought against the Minbari, except for one. And it was because of John Sheridan on the Agamemnon came up with the idea of using an
asteroid field and mine.
Yeah, he mined it with a thermonuclear warhead and took out their greatest ship along with two other ships. He took them out. And that was the only battle that Earth won during that entire war.
So is that how he did it? Because he actually planted nukes. See, I just listened to it, and the way it kind of almost sounded like, and again, maybe this is just from my mind being into The Expanse. My apologies for any potential spoilers.
Yeah.
I won't go into it. But basically, I almost thought that basically they kind of maneuvered the asteroids around the ship so that when they did launch nukes, that basically they couldn't jump into hyperspace and basically use that targeting thing.
No. What they did was they didn't really launch a nuke. What they did was they planted them around the asteroids because they knew that they couldn't easily be detected, and then allow them to.
So it just blends right in there. So as you're slowing down to maneuver around the large rocks, all of a sudden thermonuclear warhead goes off. Gotcha.
Yeah, he basically staged them into a foot race where the Minbari were pursuing him, and he led them right through where they needed to be, and then remotely detonated the mines. So not only did the thermonuclear blast do significant damage, but all the debris from the mines as well, from the asteroids as well, took out the ships.
And as he said during the episode, you didn't have to have an exact hit. You just had to be within the vicinity, and that did it.
There was something. I'm gonna leak a little thing, but not too seriously. The reason why some of this stuff started is because Minbari have a tradition, or it's like a show of respect when it comes to their ships meeting other ships in space. They have their weapon ports open, and when their weapon ports are open, it's to show that their defenses are shown and that they're not actually going to engage. But it was taken, since they've never really interacted with humans so much, as a sign of
Preparing to attack.
preparing to attack, and it was
show up hostility, because humans,
the warrior
it's like,
class,
oh my
okay.
god,
you're drawing your weapon on me.
Yeah. I'm not trying to go into the classes yet because some don't know about it yet, Tickle Trunk. That's where I'm not.
Yeah, but I will say this: all of that is covered in the movie in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You actually see it, so they show you the battle, and you get to see what Sheridan looked like, and you find out where Stephen Franklin was. I think it's everybody but Sinclair. You don't see Sinclair, and you don't see.
I don't remember
Garibaldi.
Ivanova.
Oh, Ivanova's in it.
Oh, I gotta watch
Ivanova's
it. I don't
in it.
remember her
Because they play out part of the story with her mom and her brother, and but that's a small part of the story. But I remember watching that and thinking, man, we're gonna finally, see what happened to Sinclair and what's. No, you don't get to see Sinclair. So, but it's everyone else. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, is this the movie or the first season?
This is actually one of the movies that was done post the final episode, because they had a series of movies that they put out, and they all take place at different time periods. In the beginning takes place during the war, so it's 10 years before the first episode, before the pilot, 10 years before the pilot. And then Third Space takes place during, it's an unknown story that takes place during season 3. And I forgot which episodes it takes place between, because J. Michael Straczynski did put it out that there's an episode, there's these episodes that it takes place right in the middle of. And then River of Souls, that's, I think River of Souls is 5th season, if I remember correctly.
I'm looking right now.
No, 4th season. I think it's 4th season. And then you have oh man, I can't believe I gotten so old that I started forgetting this stuff. Then you have the Rangers, and that was meant to be a pilot movie. And then you have oh man, A Call to Arms. That's it. A Call to Arms was the next one, because that one introduced all the characters, a lot of the characters from Crusade. It set up Crusade, but it also gave you where Sheridan was and where Garibaldi was in that.
I think it goes this way. Movie 1 was The Gathering. Movie 2 was The Beginning. Movie 3 was Third Space. Movie 4 was River of Souls. 5 was Call to Arms. 6 was Legend of the Rangers. And 7 was Lost Tales, Voices in the Dark. So,
okay, now, the first one, The Gathering, that doesn't count because that's the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a part. That's the actual pilot that they came out with that people got a chance to see, and then they had to wait a year for the first episode. So they actually, that pilot is kind of slow, as I keep saying, and they actually had to redo the music from the pilot because Christopher Frank did not do the music for the pilot. They got Stuart Copeland, drummer for the Police, did the music for the original Babylon 5 pilot.
No shit.
And yeah, and the music, while different and kind of unique, didn't fit the direction that they originally went once the show started. They hired Christopher Frank, who was living in Germany, and his style didn't fit that style from Stuart Copeland. So a few years later, they went back and redid The Gathering and improved, I think, a lot of the sound and replaced the entire soundtrack with original music from Christopher Frank. So that way it would musically all be part of one thing, because I think he did all the music for Babylon 5, all of it.
Oh yeah.
And this was Stuart Copeland right around the same. This is after he had done the music for The Equalizer, the television series, The Equalizer, which I loved. I loved that television series.
I mean, the music definitely sets the mood.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was audio over there, but all I know is, at least for like Dragon Ball Z, like depending on which dub and stuff you actually happen to listen to, all I know is I'm a big fan of Bruce Faulconer. I mean, power to the guy.
It would be interesting to see what they would do if they gave the green light to doing something new with Babylon 5's universe. I'm not sure that Straczynski would come back for it, but I'm sure he would help to oversee it and lend support, depending on who would be running it. But that said, as I said earlier, Straczynski's just the man. I love his style of writing. I love the way he runs things. And I would almost give anything to give him a shot at having control of a Star Trek series.
I can agree with that. It would be awesome. But Shay, you make a good point too. Sorry, I'm going to cough for a second. Someone's in my throat. But I would love to see Bones, the Bones Studio, handle an anime, maybe a Babylon 5. They do some good stuff, and I think if we got a good Japanese animation studio that's not in Western part of the world and doing it there, and don't let Viz Media do any dubs, you would have something amazing there.
Are you insinuating something?
Viz Media ruins dubs. Look what they did to Sailor Moon, for God's sakes.
I never finished Sailor Moon.
I have
They did okay for Naruto.
Yeah, okay. Watch. I have the original. Eventually, meets when you have time. I have the first season of Deep
But
Dubs.
they also changed-
No. Well, we're gonna do a comparison.
But they also changed other things in the 90s with Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I know some. Yeah, you mean like the girlfriend that's now the two cousins holding hands and kissing. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. The Osmonds, the Osmond sailors, the Sailor Osmonds, right there.
Yep.
That did so much better. Fucking Viz Media. Thank you, D.
So it's been a long time. They've done it for a long time. It's like with, even when you watch stuff that's from Spain or Mexico, they don't use the right words, even though most Americans or anyone who's exposed to Spanish be like, that's not the word they said. But unfortunately, it's just how things translate, even casually, not even with an agenda. It's just laziness.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest anime fan. Not that I don't like it. I just haven't watched enough of it compared to many people. So
then
a lot of the dubs are not all that.
Then we're gonna make Keith watch Trigun. Sorry, Memes, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, you'd like Trigun.
No. Since we're doing Babylon 5, I think we should set time. Like, I have free time on a Saturday. What we can do is an actual watch party of like Trigun. See if the first episode you like it. I think you would have a great attachment to Vash the Stampede.
I did watch my share of anime years ago. I mean, I enjoyed Wicked City. That was one of my favorites.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cat Girl Nuku Nuku. Of course, as Gary likes to say, definitely I grew up with Speed Racer. And again, I'm not as well versed as many, but I do have my favorites. Wings of Hanamis was another one that I enjoyed, and so I do have a few.
I like Transer Z because like Aphrodite A, she had like those little boob missiles.
If you happen to like that, I can totally recommend the first season of Rage of Bahamut.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to watch past that. Just the first season is like 12 episodes. They're each about like 30 minutes long. It's basically, at one point, you basically have this super powerful being, Bahamut, that is so powerful that literally, more or less from that world, God and the devil join forces because it's that much of a threat.
Wow.
I'll leave it at that, as well as different types of physics and stuff maybe evolve.
Stepping off of the Babylon thing for a moment, I did once suggest to a friend of mine that, it would be really cool if there was an anime version of the New Gods. If you could do that story anime-wise. Jack Kirby's New Gods.
Oh.
The characters of the New Gods, of which some of the characters appear in Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's where Darkseid comes from. He's one of the New Gods. But I mean, I do all the characters of the New Gods, all the characters within the fourth world as an anime, because the story lends itself to anime. All these different characters, all the political machinations, it's all of that stuff. Fourth world is pretty much Game of Thrones minus the extreme sex. It's all on a galactic scale.
They had Harley Quinn. She went to Apocalypse on her animated series.
Yeah, on her animated series. But you again, they have been focusing on only half of the fourth world. Apocalypse is one part of the story. But you don't get a chance to meet the rest of the characters, like Highfather and some people do know some of the characters, but they don't know that they're actually fourth world characters, like Mr. Miracle and Big Barda and Metron. Metron's my favorite.
Oberon.
Oberon's a good one too, but Metron is my favorite character. Ooh, geez, Metron. That chair is awesome. And I like the story where Batman actually sat in the chair, because that chair connects you to all knowledge in the universe.
Oh, the three Jokers.
Yeah, and Batman finds out who the Joker actually is. He learns what his actual identity is, and it even kind of blows his mind. It's like, oh, really? Batman with the source of all knowledge in the universe.
They were saying that when you go into the chair, you become like a Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, you're a god. It's like you're a god.
I was going to say, because obviously we want. Well, obviously we want Batman to have all the knowledge in the world, because obviously that's
well, he's the world's greatest detective. If he gets all the knowledge, then how's he supposed to solve anything? Probably.
Yeah, then we might be all put in like the goo.
He becomes Barbarella.
I think Batman needs to redo Barbarella and go from there.
I'm just saying, the fourth world, when fully realized, is one of those stories that would lend itself to anime. And when you know the story, you realize how much trouble the Justice League were actually in, going up against Darkseid and his forces. But they also had allies that they could have, if they had known about them, they could have called on those allies. So even the whole thing about treating children, the war between the two halves of the New Gods, and how in order to stop the war, they traded their firstborns. And that Calabac, who is a character that's constantly trying to win the love of his father, is in actuality one of the good guys. He was born to be one of the good guys, and he's constantly a disappointment to his father.
I thought it was Mr. Miracle and Orion.
No. Mr. Miracle was imprisoned on Apocalypse for years, and his ability to be able to escape gave him everything he needed to become Mr. Miracle. But no. Orion is the other. He's the opposite. And he is this great hero, and then you find out in reality he's Darkseid's son.
So it's like the reverse of like Thor and Loki.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think, where Jack Kirby got some of his ideas. But they were good enough ideas for DC that when he got back to Marvel, Marvel said, why don't you do that for us? Why don't you give us that? And that's where the Eternals come from. The Eternals is actually Jack Kirby trying to recreate what he did with the Fourth World for Marvel Comics.
So who's the mothers of Orion and Calabac again? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. It's been a while since I've read those. I think everybody should own a copy because that omnibus, you could kill somebody with that omnibus. You could literally kill somebody.
I always thought that it was Orion was the son of Darkseid, and then he was given to the New Gods. And then Mr. Miracle was the son of Highfather, and he was given to Apocalypse. And then he was and that's why he was.
It's not Scott. It's not Scott. It's Calabac because he's the only one that kind of looks quote unquote normal. He's got that big beard and he's always hunched over though. But
he's got the same nose as Highfather.
He's got the same beard as Highfather.
Yeah.
The beard minus no mustache. That's the other clue about that. And welcome to Fourth World Talk, everyone. But
yeah, I know a lot of people think that differently because the model that they use for Calabac in the animated series does not resemble the model that they use for Highfather in the same series. So it looks like he's a completely different person. But no, it's that was a Bruce Timm mistake there.
Yeah. But Fourth World is awesome. And Orion is just kick-ass. And Light Ray and all of those guys. Oh, jeez. See, look at this. Look at this. It's amazing stuff.
I don't understand why a New God is on skis, though.
That's the Black Racer.
Oh, the Black Racer. Yeah, he's deaf.
Yeah,
on
that's
skis?
Yep.
Hey.
Hey, don't hate on those that traverse. I mean, dude, we have surfers and stuff. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, Jack Kirby, that's I think that's his little Marvel contribution there. Because it's hard to come up with something when you can't really use a surfboard because, it's kind of copyrighted. So, wow. Metron, there he is, relaxing in his chair. Just looking over everybody.
He could have just changed it to like a sled. He could have been like the black sled guy. Like a bobsled. He could have he could have created a Jamaican bobsled team ahead of the time.
Maybe.
Is it just me or are two of the characters in the corner getting a little friendly?
Which corner?
The right corner.
Oh, I see. I get what you're saying. Yeah, because she's bent over a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. Perhaps they're married. Perhaps I apologize.
Now I'll bring this back up
the
in
Greek
a second,
position.
But I really just want to do this quickly, and I probably will get claimed, but we're gonna stop and talk over it. But I this is the 30-second one, and I really want Keith to see this. Oh, bam. Now we stop that. $60 million man, you'll figure out that through the series.
It's $1 billion.
Like, this is like back in the day when they were crazy with animations and huge. If you like Western style, this has it too. Sorry, I'm pausing. I just don't want them to go crazy with stuff.
That's fine.
Why do I feel like I know these people?
That's Vash the Stampede. That's all I'm giving right now. But yeah, that's something you should take a look at, Keith, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of someone who is also a fan of the Big O,
I love that show. When I first heard about it, I watched it and then I rewatched it again, and I haven't watched it in a while. And I got to rewatch. I love Big O. The theme song.
That should be a lot. That should be a live action series. I'm saying it's
good.
Yeah, it's man. What's the best way to describe the Big O? It's if you took
Batman with robots.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And a mystery in the center of it. It's not just the mystery part of it is what drew me in. I mean, I like the other stuff, but the whole mystery of the entire thing and trying to figure out how it. Yeah, that got me, man. That got me every time.
Is that like Giant Robo? Because that was like Batman of a giant robot.
It's something like that, but it's. The music and the intro was so good.
Well, Queen style there.
It has also that old Flash Gordon kind of feel to it. Yeah.
The story of the Big O and what happened, and oh man, that was so cool. That to me was one of the most original stories I've come across.
For an animated show, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry the overlay's still on. I was trying something different.
Hey, that's fine. But yes. So I do have a little bit of experience with anime. My daughter, though, got me into a lot of the other newer stuff. But for the most part, I'm very old school. But I'll try anything. So, but
yeah.
This is what. Say what?
Like how old? Because Trigun's from the 90s, and the books were probably written in like the 80s or even older.
Yeah, I'm more of a late 80s, early 90s anime guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not saying I would like Trigun. I'm willing to give Trigun a try.
I really think you would like it, and you'd have fun with it.
Yeah, another obsession. Something else to really just
to hate Steven for. Yes, it's a known thing. Yes.
Not to hate Steven, but it was just like, okay, something else for me to go crazy on. Okay.
If you liked Big O, another one would also be great. Would honestly be Gun X Sword. If you've heard of that one, it's kind of has the kind of it's not the same type of ending, but it has the same type of. It has like a Kill Bill story to it.
Really.
And it's anime and giant robots.
If you want something short, entertaining, I'd recommend the first season of One Punch Man.
Yes, he wouldn't leave One Punch Man. Then he would love it to death. Like My Hero Academia would probably send Keith down a spiral, though.
I heard it's a good
show. My daughter got into that for a while. She tried to get me to watch that.
My Hero Academia is great.
Yeah, ex Mrs. Memes recommended it to me.
Cool, very cool. Okay, well, see, we're all getting something out of this now. I have all these great recommendations, and again, I'm always all about that. And here you guys are taking on the recommendation of Babylon 5 and seemingly, just going with it, and that's good. That's good. Now, has anybody attempted to read any of the books?
Not yet. No, that'll be my next thing. I'm hoping they come in audio because I love audio.
I think about that. You might not. So good luck.
I have some of the comics.
I asked Keith about that, and he's probably not have any audio.
Yeah, probably not. I know that the comics don't have a graphic audio, and the comics are really well done because, okay, I can at least, since you guys have watched episode 1 of season 2, the comics cover everything that happened after the end of Chrysalis, and follows Sinclair from his start on Minbar. That's what the comics cover. So you get to find out what is going on with Sinclair and what's happening on Minbar. And I think it stays with him through one of the books. I think it also covers some of the stuff from one of the novels. There's a Babylon 5 novel that covers Sinclair being on Minbar. And the comics cover that all the way into what happens in season 3. So there you go. So now you guys know what to look for.
Now we got stuff to meme into reality.
But that covers season 3. That's where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after season 1, Babylon Squared.
And I think with that, let's call it here. It's been 2 hours. We've covered DC. We've done a bunch of stuff. I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank the chat popping in and out. Keith, stop doing that. Where is it?
But if this is crazy, babe, I don't want to be sane. I'm in love with you, Wendy.
Oh, Captain!
Every time I'll do that. But Keith, thank you for coming. Memes, thank you for coming. Monkey Jeebus, thank you for coming.
No
and you're doing it now. You're doing it now, really? You're pulling it. They look like magic cards.
Technically, yes, but it's all Babylon 5
and sexy fingers.
It is all Babylon 5.
Oh, you're spoiling! Oh, you're spoiling!
Oh, anything fit? Yeah. Words. Continue.
Dude, how you have them in such good condition too?
I think it knows that.
Oh, that's the elevator where he's waving. I love that one. Uh-huh.
Yeah, not a lot of this stuff I can actually
show you.
The chat is going insane right now. They're like, cards.
Yeah, these are all in really, really good condition.
That is awesome. Should we save that for? Should we? Oh, Bester. We should save that for the opening where you actually can show it. Before we actually close up, do we think we should continue with episode 2, or should we pick a different episode for people to look at? Because I don't want to screw up the timeline for people getting into the show. Stop saying season 1. I can see Ticket Truck season 1. Oh my god!
I met this guy. He's actually from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we can pick another one. Let's see. Let's go with what would be another good episode to do?
We can pick one from season 1 because Culture's here simping for Kate's hair. Hello, Culture. How are you?
Keith, did you watch Defiance when it was on?
I used to.
Yeah.
Because that was in St. Louis, wasn't it?
Yes. Defiance was a really cool idea for a show.
And game, because they tied the two together. I actually played it. They shut down the servers recently.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's yeah.
The reason why I think we chose season 2, episode 1 last week was because we wanted to have something where people could watch and get pulled in. We're not saying don't ever watch season 1. Go back and watch it if you like. But we wanted something where people could all have a base ground where it's kind of not giving too many spoilers away, but you're getting a lot of information at the same time. It's going to make you go back and want to go forward. So you had to make that choice yourself.
So what's our
Well, you know what? Let me then, it we could go to season 1 if you want.
I have no problem with that.
I don't know how many people though here have actually finished season 2 to go back to see season 1. But
who'd we lose?
But let me at least ask this: everybody in the chat and everybody in the panel, how far are you along? Did you start with season 2, or did you start season 1 and go to season 2?
I went from season 1 to season 2, but because I wanted to get refreshed before we went into this deep.
Yeah.
I started season 2 and got like an episode and a half in.
Okay. And Culture Casino's here. Hail, Culture Casino.
Culture Casino, do you want on the panel before Keith shows more cards and just starts whipping it out for everybody? Whipping out paper cuts.
Significantly advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. See, I can actually say.
It's just a lot of fun. Just a lot. There are aspects of Babylon 5 that are just.
Oh, I want to go into some other news. You remember our friend and lovely man who did Power Girl? You know that Jerry Conway? That
Jerry Conway.
Did you see him this morning? Quote a new Washington Post article about Dr. Seuss books, childhood books being full of ists and all that stuff. And then he said, "Wait till you see. Don't read the Hardy Boy books in the original editions." And I was like, "You mofo!" I had all the hardcover blue covers, even the ones where they put it to shiny. I had all of them. I didn't see anything wrong with them.
You know what? Here's my thing with Jerry Conway. I get what he's doing, but the thing is that I think he needs to just hold off. You know, I know what his politics are. I know what he's trying to do. There are ways to handle things without being, that guy easily.
He's trying to defend himself before people accuse him of exploiting women.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Script. I should have just deferred to you. But
what else is Power Girl except for Supergirl ripoff, where she's posing as a porn star?
I like Power Girl.
I like her too, Bill. I mean, that's her basic inception as a model with regards to her design. Her story very different because she's from another Earth. She's Kal-El's cousin, the same as Supergirl. She's got a whole other thing going on, but it's the appearance stuff. They do let that factor in here and there for jokes and other stuff later on in her series. But really, the inception is very, very one-dimensional.
I'm only really familiar via DeviantArt.
All right, then, seeing as how the chat and stuff goes, should we go back and start with season 1, episode 1?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, season 1, episode 1. Yeah. No, sorry, season 1, episode 2. Because episode 1's the pilot, and the pilot is...
The pilot needed work.
Pilot does need work. It'll put you to sleep. It's
and
long,
raise some questions that will not be answered for a very long time.
Which is the reason why I'd suggested, if you're going to try to watch it in a way that'll keep you interested, you watch season 2 first, then you go to season 1, start with episode 2, do that. Once you finish the entire series and you finish the final episode, go back and watch the pilot. Season 1, episode 1, and you'll be a little more invested, and you'll start identifying things. You'll go, oh, they set it up all the way back then, and that, and it'll make the pilot a little more enjoyable. So,
all right, then for everyone in the chat, before we close out, season 1, episode 2 for next week's episode.
Will that be called Midnight on the Fringe Line, not Soul Hunter? That's different.
Yeah. We'll call it Babylon After Dark at this point, kind of.
I mean, technically, it's season 1, episode one because it's a follow-up to the pilot itself. Like that's how it's categorized. So it is Midnight on the Fringe line. That's going to be your first episode that you're going to want to watch.
Midnight on the Firing Line.
Is it Firing Line? I can't remember. I can't read. I've only been up for
I got it right here.
Firing Line. Firing Line.
There we go. Season 1. So season 1. And this is the episode we're going to be watching. The Firing Line.
Yep.
Yeah, Midnight on the Firing Line.
That is the episode to be watching. I put it in the chat. Bookmark it, copy and paste it, get a tattoo. And from there, we are going to wrap up. Some people have to go. But other than that, thank you, panel. Thank you, Hot Chick with Membari. Sorry, she's hot. Why not watch 2? Oh, my God.
Why not watch 2 episodes?
All right, everyone else, have a great night. We are closing out. It's been a blast. This will stay up for a while, and then I'll cut it up and leave the other episode about our talk on Warner and AT&T Discovery later on. Thank you all. Have a good night. We are now getting out of here.
Peace out.